When you're coming up to retirement phase, one of the things that people are really looking at is the risk and reward about what kind of investments they have and what's going to create the income stream that they need. And in some ways that might be a bit too late. It's that risk profile against what your goals are is actually a really long-term thought process or a long-term plan. I know with even my kids at the moment, if they're going to invest into something and it's on a higher on the risk scale, so it might be directly into shares or whatever, I don't think it's as much a problem, because when they're in their 20s and something happens, then there's time to recover. But that's not for everybody anyway. It's about personal choice and how conservative they want to be, how balanced they want to be. But as I said, if a lot of times if they're younger, then they've got a higher risk appetite. And we've been through many times, in our lifetime of peaks and troughs in any market. So GFC, classic example, and a lot of people, got wiped out on the share market. But some people had a better run through the property market, or just having their cash in the bank. And it depends on the time. If I looked at timing for individuals, and it's really hard to do anything on timing, but about where you are, most of the time, and me included, the closer I got to thinking about retirement, the more conservative my risk profile got. And I think that the more conservative your risk profile gets going into retirement actually then stabilises what my income stream is going to be out the other side. Because if I've got a really high risk profile still going into retirement, it's still going to have those ups and downs, and I didn't want that when I went into retirement, and I wanted a more steady stream coming through. But that's me, and some people are still willing to almost roll the dice and go a higher risk because of, I suppose, some of the dreams and aspirations they have in retirement. And it's one of the things that you've got to sit down and get some advice and think about what it is that your profile is. If you go and get advice, one of the things that'll happen, especially if you have a partner, they'll go through and look at your risk profile by asking a number of questions, and they'll look at your partner's profile by asking the same questions. And that's a really interesting conversation. And if you've got a good planner, the planner will then just sit back and let you and your partner have that conversation, which can be difficult because, I know that, going into retirement, my risk profile was slightly higher than my wife's, and understandably so. But it's one of those things you've got to then nut it out, because if you're going to go forward together, that's one of the things you've got to have pretty much locked down as you go into retirement.